awareness of who Robert Jackson was came, like most things, late in life to me. I am fascinated with the Jehovah's Witness cases before the Supreme Court. It's been remarked by scholars, more than one scholar has made the point that the Jehovah's Witnesses have made a greater contribution to the shaping of First Amendment law than any other person or institution in the history of American jurisprudence. This story fascinates me. I'm waiting for the movie. There's a Pulitzer Prize out there for some author. When in 1940, with America at war, young men dying on foreign battlefields, they wouldn't salute the flag. And comes now the Supreme Court comes down from the mountain, 8-1, the only dissenting voice. And if you didn't salute the flag, you were expelled from school. The entire class, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, Jehovah's Witnesses of the United States. You're in the third grade. Little William Gobitis, in the first witness case, Minersville, Pennsylvania, held on to his pockets. His sister, Lillian, tells us this, who, by the way, lives outside of Atlanta today. And 8-1, they have to salute the flag. And in the months that followed, there were 1,000 injuries of Jehovah's Witnesses. These people were scum. They wouldn't salute the flag, especially in a time of war. And the court said you had to salute the flag. Following that ruling, there was a castration in Iowa of a witness, Jehovah's Witness. They burned down Kingdom Hall in Kennebunk, Maine. They put a rope around several Jehovah's Witnesses in Wheeling, West Virginia, and pulled them through the streets of the downtown area with people jeering. The American Legion wives would cook breakfast in the morning as the men prepared to meet the Jehovah's Witnesses as they were coming into town to evangelize and do their door-to-door. You know, Jews have high holy days. Catholics have the holy sacrifice of the Mass. Muslims go to Mecca. Jehovah's Witnesses go door to door. That's their faith. And while we were throwing stones at them, expelling Catholic pastors, mandated a boycott of Jehovah's Witnesses' business. They couldn't feed themselves. They were homeschooling. They lived in attics, but they kept the faith because the God King Jehovah was coming, and this is what they were taught to do. This is their faith. It's not possible to overstate the hatred that existed for Jehovah's Witness adherents. All right, comes now the case back to the United States Supreme Court. Robert Jackson is now on the court, and he writes for the majority. What was the vote?
Well, it was
the second, Barnett.
7-2.
7-2. We still had two. Two said, no, you got to salute. You got to do the pledge. You must do the pledge. In order to have order in this country, it is not unreasonable to ask a child to stand and salute his flag. What's wrong with this? Who would not do this? The only person, by the way, who got it right both times was Harlan Stone. We should know more about Harlan Stone. Can you imagine? The only one who said, this is a violation of the First Amendment. We cannot force these children to do something contrary to their faith, which says, you shall not pledge allegiance to anything or any person, any institution, anything, but God, but God. All right. Comes now the second, and this is where Robert Jackson just dazzled me. again, to tell you what you already know, his flourish was one of the greatest moments, I think, in the history of Supreme Court writing, when he said, on the occasion of the second case, 7-2, speaking for the majority, if there is any fixed star in our constitutional constellation, it is that no official, high or petty, shall prescribe what shall be orthodox in religion, nationalism, politics, or any other matters of opinion. Nor may he force to confess by word or deed a belief therein. Americans cannot be made to believe anything. Americans cannot be forced to believe in the United States Constitution itself. Americans cannot be forced to believe in the United States of America itself. Essentially, what Robert Jackson and 9 other, I don't mean, these are old men looking down over that mahogany bench. 7. And they looked at those children, and they said, "You obey your parents." That gives me a chill. That makes me a proud American. This is how secure we are. We're so secure, we know it's absurd to try it. The Soviets did that. The Soviets says you can't believe in God, which is like saying don't think of a pink elephant. But to have Jackson put it that way, and his reputation for taking all those whereases of all those decisions that baffle non-legal minds, and to shape it into language that is so pure, so economical, and so precise, and so understandable, was, I think, one of his great gifts to American jurisprudence. And so, especially at a time like today, and I think Robert Jackson did more to help us understand why this is so important than any other person who ever sat on the bench.
How do you feel about Jackson?